Hello and a very warm welcome to this Headlines Today IIPM special presentation, The Prices Crisis Budget 2011. As we head into this budget, the Indian government faces its most severe crisis yet. What should the strategy be to deal with this crisis? A crisis of prices, a crisis of confidence? Does the government have a strategy at all? For perspective, I'm joined in the special show today by Praful Patel, the Union Minister for Heavy Industry and Public Enterprises, Arun Bharatram, Chairman of SRF, Sunil Kant Munjal, Chairman of Hero Corporate Services. With me to the right, Professor Arindam Chaudhary, Dean of IIPM and a renowned academician. We've got Dr. Amit Mitra, Secretary General of FICCI, and Headlines Today Senior Editor Sandeep Bamzai. I want to start by asking you, Mr. Munjal, the first question on whether you as a top corporate honcho of India believe that the India growth story itself is now in danger. We're seeing corporate India press the alarm bells and signal to this government that things are not right. How bad, according to you, are things really?
I think growth, by the way, is going on pretty well. When you look at a relative basis across the globe, we're still growing. We're amongst the fastest growing economies in the world. The concern really is for the future. Are we doing enough to build the foundation for continued growth in the future? Is a concern that I would certainly have. We're not doing enough on capital formation at this moment. We're not doing enough to address the deficit that we have in our budget, both revenue and capital deficit in our budget. And at the same time, decision making in the government seems to have slowed down significantly over the last year or so. And that is a matter of concern.
Decision making in government, you say, has slowed down considerably, and that is of concern to you. Have all the allegations of corruption, Mr. Arun Bharatram, impacted the India growth story, the way industrialists and the way the outside world looks at India, the emerging economy?
Well, what one hears from the outside is that while there was corruption, this is now becoming evident. All the scams that have been coming out, there is some dent in the level of confidence of foreign investors. But I would say that as far as foreign investors are concerned, they know how to deal with a situation when they want to invest in a country. I think what is of bigger concern is, as Sunil mentioned, the deficit that we are facing today and the impact that this will have on inflation, the impact that this will have on the growth story, and that is a bigger concern for an investor than merely or the corruption angle.
There seems to be a sense of inertia in this government. Do you feel the government is failing to reach out and tell the people that this is our plan and this is how we are dealing with all these problems?
I think it's a very sweeping statement which is being made that government is failing on all fronts. I think that would not be fair. The fact is, yes, there are issues of governance, as both my friends have pointed out, issues of corruption, probity in public life. Of course, I mean, this is not something which is for this government alone to answer. Of course, this government, as being in the ruling position, has to address these issues and come out clean on all these issues. But the fact is that the overall story of growth in India, I think it is something which the world and all of us in India must acknowledge. It's not something which is happening in spite of government. To say that everything is happening, fundamentally going wrong and therefore something needs to be drastically corrected. I think look at the figures. I mean, my friends will acknowledge that growth is 8% plus. It doesn't happen in many other countries of the world. We have a large base now. It's not like India of 20 years ago where 8% would not really transform itself into big numbers. In industrial production, yes, of course, off late has shown some little decline, but that does not mean that the overall India growth story is over.
But